The privacy discussions to me are fascinating, and especially because we get 1,000 to 2,000 comments a day on my show, and the few that aren't just anti-Semitic comments about me personally have a lot of interesting things to say about privacy. And there seem to be two kind of major camps people are in. One of them is we just should not be surveyed in any way by the government, period, that's it. And the other is, if you're not doing anything wrong, why do you care? Only people doing something, quote, wrong should really be concerned. I have qualms with both of those arguments, but when you have you can have these very divergent viewpoints, how do you start to really have a reasonable thought process about, well, privacy? What are the extent, what's the goal here?
Right. So privacy is a fascinating question because, as you say, many people have this opinion that if they're not doing anything wrong, then it doesn't matter if they're being spied on.
Sure.
At the same time, privacy often comes up as the number one concern of internet users. And internet users who are new to the web and internet users who have been using the web since the start. So what I think that means is that people are fundamentally a little creeped out by the idea that even if they're not doing anything wrong, that somebody's kind of watching everything they're doing. And when you tell them that, hey, when you're using Facebook, but not only Facebook, when you're using all kinds of other websites as well, there are these companies that you've never heard of that have names that will not ring a bell, that are tracking a profile of you so that they know everywhere where you're going, not only on Facebook, but everywhere else. And then they're selling that profile to other companies and making a whole lot of money on it.
So to play devil's advocate with that, I'm going to get ads that are really targeted to my actual interests. I'm not going to see ads for stuff I don't care about. Isn't that a good thing?
That might be a good thing for you, and if you're okay with that, then you should have the freedom to be served those ads. But what we don't have is choice in the matter. And we don't have the ability to opt out of that scheme.
Right.
So, because we don't even necessarily know that it's happening.
Right.
So, at the very least, I think what we need is more transparency about which data is being collected about us and what's being done with that data.
Should it be as explicit as when you're on a website, something pops up and says, this website can track the following things. That's how this website is structured. Would something like that be sufficient?
There are tools that will do that for you. I'm not so sure that we should start telling every website owner that they need to provide that kind of information. Right. That would be a kind of
you get
an
into
onerous,
a lot of other, exactly. Yeah.
But it's interesting in the UK, you may have noticed this, when you go to a UK-based website, you will often see a pop-up that will tell you that this site uses cookies and you have to opt in to the cookie collecting scheme. Again, I'm not going to come out in favor for that method or not. But
it's interesting to know what's being done.
It's interesting to see what's being done. Europe in general has tighter privacy standards than we do here in the US. But here's the other side of the privacy coin, is that it's not just companies. You have government surveillance schemes that, again, we hardly are aware of.
Right.